back with another late night vlog, and tonight we're going to get into something I wanted to just touch base with you again and make sure that we're keeping our minds focused on the important things that very easily get sucked into the afterthought of our minds. So tonight is the comp pick equation. Now, I like to keep tabs on this. Every year I keep tabs on it and see where we are, and every year we don't get any. The last time we did actually was Idzik, I believe, where he got 4 of them one year, and that's what led to the Idzik 12. And as we know, it didn't amount to very much now, did it? He took 11 scrubs, and Quincy Enunwa, who was injured, who is still on our books this year. Joe Douglas is having to deal with that. So at $3.6 million, Quincy Enunwa still counts against our cap. But we're going to go ahead and give you an update on where the Jets stand with potentially getting comp picks for next year. Now, it's funny. Every time I bring this up, certain factions yell at me and go, the Jets aren't getting comp picks. And it's like, okay, I understand it's unlikely. That doesn't mean I don't like to pay attention to it. And it's one of those things that when it does come around the mountain that we get some, I want you to know about it. And I want you to understand how it is and why it is that we did get them, rather than just some happenstance. Oh, looks like we're getting picks. I like to know beforehand. I like to know when it happens, and I like to know why. So it's based on free agency. Now, what happens in free agency is obviously guys' contracts are up, players' contracts are over, and they could either re-sign with the team or they can go and sign with another team who's potentially offering them more money. It's a better situation, whatever it might be. So when your team, our team being the New York Jets, sign a free agent, that's a -1 toward a future comp pick. A compensatory pick, if you will. So when you sign more players than you lose in free agency, you don't receive any compensatory pick. Now, when you sign less players than you lose in free agency, you do receive a compensatory pick. Now, how do you get to that situation? Now, it was developed to try to help teams that have a big rush of free agents leave their team. So they spend all these years building their team, and then in 1 year, 8 guys go somewhere else, and they're left at the altar. The NFL created a system to help those teams compensate, and that's the compensatory pick system. From now on in this video, we will return to calling it a comp pick, okay? So this year, the Jets signed a whole bunch of free agents. Now, we were calling Joe Douglas Sleepy Joe for a minute. Not me, but we, as a collective. It became a fun little name that we gave our general manager, Sleepy Joe. What's Sleepy Joe doing today? He likes to sign free agents in the evening, so clearly he's sleeping all day. And it was a little bit slower than a lot of Jets fans would have liked. So therefore, the insinuation that he's sleeping on the job, right? With all that being considered, he still signed quite a few free agents. Let's go over who they are. So we have Corey Davis, remember, wide receiver. Another wide receiver, Keelan Cole. We signed a guard, Dan Feeney. Signed a tight end, Tyler Croft. A running back, Tevin Coleman. Defensive end, Vinnie Curry. Defensive tackle, Sheldon Rankins. Linebacker, Jared Davis. An edge rusher, Carl Lawson. Another linebacker, Delshon Phillips. And we signed Justin Hardy, the special teams ace and defensive back. And then we signed a safety, LaMarcus Joyner, who also can play nickelback, although not as good. Now, all of them, except for LaMarcus Joyner, counts against our compensatory pick system. Now, why is that? Because LaMarcus Joyner was actually cut by the Raiders. He wasn't just an organic free agent. So he was cut by the Raiders. Therefore, us signing him doesn't count one way or the other versus the comp pick, okay? So how many is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys we signed. So he brought in 12 free agents, including LaMarcus Joyner. Not a bad job for someone who's sleeping, right? So he brought in 12 free agents. 11 are qualifying free agents who count against the cap. Now let's see who we lost. We lost quarterback Joe Flacco. We lost wide receiver Brashad Perryman. We lost guard Pat Elflein. Guard Josh Andrews, interestingly enough. I didn't know if he'd be signed in this first wave of free agency. We lost defensive end Henry Anderson, linebacker Jordan Jenkins, linebacker Terrell Basham, linebacker Frankie Louvu, and safety special teams guy Matthias Farley, who I thought would have been nice to keep around, quite frankly. So that's 9 free agents. Now, one of those, Henry Anderson, was a cut, so he doesn't count against the compact picks. They're compact, they're smaller. That's 8. So we signed 11, we lost 8. So that's a -3. So right now, what we would have to do to get back into the comp pick equation is to lose 3 more free agents. Now, is that possible? You think of losing 11 free agents in 1 year, that's hard. Well, let's take a look at who we still have. Now, some of them are names that may or may not get signed. Some look like they just might. So who is that? We have running back Frank Gore, who really should probably retire, but he might not. He was supposed to retire 3 or 4 years ago, so who knows? He may or may not get signed. He might get signed during training camp when another running back goes down, and that would not count towards a pick. There's a certain period of time. We have tight end Daniel Brown, Ross Travis, another tight end, defensive tackle Trevin Coley, linebacker Neville Hewitt, linebacker Patrick Onwuasor, or Peanut, a linebacker Bryce Hagar, another linebacker who I like a whole bunch, Harvey Lange, cornerback Brian Poole, cornerback Kyron Brown, cornerback Arthur Marlette, safety Bradley McDougall, and safety Bennett Jackson. Now, who out of that group is likely to be signed before the draft or right after? If Frank Gore doesn't retire, he has potential to be signed. Probably not. He'll probably be after the case. Daniel Brown's a good one. Neville Hewitt's a very good one. Patrick Onwuasor is another one. Bryce Hagar, maybe. Harvey Lange's another good one. Brian Poole for sure. Arthur Marlette's another possibility. Bradley McDougall and Bennett Jackson. So that's really 8 or 9 guys that have the realistic potential to be signed in the next 2 weeks or so. If we were to lose 5 of them, that would put us in a +3 category in the qualifying compensatory pick formula. So it does go by contract. So it's not like you don't have to match contracts. There are pretty much tiers. They haven't given out the exact tiers, but like if you lose somebody for $10 million a year, if they go somewhere and they sign somewhere for $10 million a year, and you sign somebody for $14 million a year, they're gonna wash. They're close enough. If you sign somebody for $5 million a year and you lose somebody for vet minimum, they're probably gonna wash as well. My dog is such a butthole. I'm pulling him out of my lights. Why'd you move? Why'd you gotta do that? Why? Because I'm a butthole. So there are tiers. It's not, if you lose somebody for 10 million, if you let's simplify it and say that you lose one and sign one. If you lose one for $10 million, if you sign one for $10 million and lose one for vet minimum, they're not going to wash evenly. It's not going to counteract directly because there are tiers with the contracts that players sign. That's basically how they design the whole round system and where you'll get your comp pick. So it goes from the 3rd round to the 7th round. And the way that it works is after every team picks in the 3rd round, that's when the compensatory picks will start to kick in. If 4 teams get 3rd round comp picks, then it'll go the 3rd round plus the 4 picks in the 3rd round before it starts the 4th round. Then if there are 6 teams that get 4th round, they'll do the whole 4th round standard, and then the comp picks will start. When the comp picks are done, then they start the 5th round. That's how it goes. So guys, we're not in as bad a shape as a lot of people thought we were going to be. We're -3 right now in the comp pick formula with 8 or 9 legitimate options that stand potential to get signed and start to put us in the plus category. I will keep you posted as this continues to develop. Until then, get some damn sleep, will you? What are you doing awake? Go Jets.